This is a workshop of the Zoning Board of Appeals. Tonight we have basically one application in front of us, one and a half.
One in a reference.
One in a reference. For basically the project is 2 Depot Square. So we have Aaron Wolf. Aaron Wolf is on my left, John Martin, and Nelson Antoine, and Karen Parks is here to represent her one part.
Yeah.
So come sit, and we'll kind of rediscuss what we've already rediscussed in official meetings. I think everybody, you were CC'd on John's response as well.
I was.
You had it, but that's okay.
Yeah.
I have a hard copy. So you saw John First's response on this, which I think, I mean, just even without talking to Karen and seeing all the stuff, that even though we have 2 denials, we are allowed to treat this as one application as long as Neve submits the proper documentation and letter to say yes, indeed, we will do this jointly.
And do we need a letter from the owner also?
I could certainly get that. It's not a problem.
Probably wouldn't hurt.
It'd be good, yeah.
Yeah, that the application, because you and Neve are essentially representing them as a single. And then,
One
if the representative,
yeah.
if the representative from Neve,
Yes.
he probably,
by her, yes.
yeah, he probably should. Well, we'll see what we see tonight.
Okay.
And see if we can move forward.
Okay, great.
Based on see if we have enough.
Okay.
And if we have outstandings that we feel that you could supply before the next meeting for a public hearing. So that's, I think, we kind of keep it very, very open. Karen, I'm going to let you drive this a bit in that we have an application from Karen, not the other half. This may be amended to include
The other stuff.
We have a certificate of occupancy. We have Catherine Parks is off. Well, we already have a letter for Karen, but it wouldn't hurt to have that same letter for Neve.
Yeah.
Right. We have a deed. Yes, this is a deed, and then we have site plans out the wazoo.
Yes. Which I feel like those old ones could be thrown out.
Yeah, so I'm not going to break. I'm not even going to break these open.
Okay.
I'm going to let you. So we have basic information. We need it. Essentially, it sounds like we need an amended application and a letter from the owner saying that Neve can,
Consolidate.
Yeah. Probably, a letter from Neve as well. And they should probably, to best support, especially in a public hearing, they probably should be present to do their presentation as well. Right. You could do it for them.
Well, I am going to actually present the plans for the pergola and the location on the site tonight, just so
That's
you
great.
have
Just so we know.
Yeah, that's very good, because
so
we're up to speed.
I'm going to, because this is, and FYI, and this was in John's letter, this is a type 1, which is very unusual for us. But I guess we are going to treat this as a type 1 seeker. So they have to do the long seeker form, which they've already submitted, and they already have. We'll get a single copy of that.
Right, but we can't hold the public hearing until after the planning board, which is the lead agency, gives a no, with the negative declaration.
On the
A nev
seeker.
deck.
Is that because of the proximity of the property to the water?
Excuse me?
I'm just wondering why it's type 1.
It's because it's in the national
Historic district.
Okay.
As opposed to just the village historic district?
Evidently,
Okay.
and even though the Historic Review Board has already classified it as a type 2 by SECRA, but I tried to work around that, but to no avail. So we submitted a long form EAF.
Yeah, so we'll, as far as we're concerned, we'll probably treat this as a type 1. You have your secret form. That's, that's what's key. And so is essentially.
So
Okay.
initially,
I mean, I think you have these
Yeah.
grouped, and I'm not even gonna begin to tear them apart now for fear of.
Yeah, but
And
I think it'd be good just to let
creating
Karen take us through what the
Yeah.
project is. and then we can-
I say that's a good idea.
yeah, you'll
So-
have short form EAFs in there, which I submitted with the initial application,
Right.
but then after meeting with the planning board, they asked for the long form.
Right.
So I submitted 8 copies to them, but spared you the 8 copies, so you have
And I
one
think-
copy of that.
I think that's fine.
That's great.
I
Thank
think
you
it's-
very
it's-
much.
It's mostly, the copies, that I end up stamping usually are distributed to planning, building inspector, and, so it's 3 or 4. If they already have these things, let's not get nuts in here, so.
Okay.
Worst comes to worst, I'll make a copy. In the office.
Yeah.
Got it. John, thanks for being here.
So on that parking waiver stuff,
I will.
just remind you.
Yeah, I know. That was an interesting, the parking waiver thing, and that's.
The village trustees, that's not even for us. That's what John first said.
That's what he said. Yeah, and so we'll get an opinion on that. I mean, we'll
Yeah.
just see what she presents, and if we need additional information, just FYI,
Yep.
we'll ask her for it, so.
Okay.
Have at it.
Great, all right, so my name's Karen Parks, and I'm here representing the owner of the property, who is Catherine Blanche, and she recently purchased the property and is planning some renovations, which are bringing here into the planning board and historic review, and we've been appearing before all of the boards kind of simultaneously. So the property is actually at the very foot of Main Street and Depot Square, across from the Depot Restaurant. This is just a photo in case you're not familiar with
Yeah,
which
I'm quite.
property it is.
Yeah.
Okay, and this is strictly a workshop. It's a readiness section.
Yes.
So
Right.
just FYI.
Okay.
Okay.
So that's.
Pictures are good.
Okay.
Pictures are good.
So, what the owner is doing, right now, the building which exists, has 3 apartment units in it. So it's a multi-family dwelling with 3 units in it. And the owner would like to, convert it to a 4-unit multi-family dwelling. So we're increasing units by 1. My initial application, shows 5 units. And we're stepping back to 4 because we've had a few meetings with the planning board now, and we're running up against mainly parking issues. The site currently has parking only within an existing garage, and there's really no space on the site to accommodate more. So after several meetings with the planning board, and recognizing that they have serious concerns about that, and about the ability of us being unable to accommodate more parking, we've tried to scale back the use to come up with hopefully a compromise that they'll accept, but we'll face that at their next meeting. So right now, we're applying to change the building from a 3 dwelling unit to 4. The other parts of this application are rebuilding an existing deck on the north end of the structure, which is currently in disrepair, little wobbly, so we're going to replace that with a new deck, and in doing so also slightly expand the footprint. So that's one aspect of this project. The second is there's an existing open kind of porch area under an existing 2nd story that we're enclosing and turning into habitable space. That obviously doesn't affect or change the lot coverage because
It's
it's
already
already
covered.
existing, right?
Right.
And technically, this deck doesn't either because the garage which exists covers this entire area and comes back underneath it. So
Mhm.
we are expanding the footprint of the deck, which is within the side yard variance, thus we need a variance for that.
Mhm.
But we're not increasing the coverage by adding that.
Because it's above, it's
It's
gonna be
above
equal,
building.
it's above a building up to the wall, right,
Correct.
to the same side yard variance, okay?
Correct.
And coverage.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so,
And then a part of the rest of the project is some landscaping features, some patio structures have already gone in, but ground level patio structures which haven't required a variance. And the remaining aspect of that is a pergola structure, which I guess is contributing to lot coverage, even though,
Yeah.
you know, it's.
It does technically.
It's open, it
Yeah.
is a structure, and
it's,
it's, yeah.
Okay.
so,
Yeah.
but is it, I mean, normally, you know, if it were just an open deck, it would not be part of lot coverage. But because of the cross-hatched, I mean, you know, that,
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
so that's still considered coverage, I guess. Okay,
Evidently, I mean, that's, so I'm told from the building
inspector.
Yeah, I mean, that could just be looked up and.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Confirmed.
we need to
Right.
do our homework
Right.
on
Yeah,
that,
of course.
whether,
Yeah.
how we wanna treat it, whether it's truly lot coverage or not.
Okay,
So that's, you know, but that's this thing, right?
right.
Yeah.
The crosshatch thing.
The
Okay.
crosshatch.
Correct.
That's where the pool was, right? Is that-
Yes, yeah. The second aspect with the pergola is that it's within the front yard setback, so.
What is being declared front yard?
Well,
Because
because it's a
essentially-
corner lot.
It's technically 2 front yards.
Right, so this line on the site plan, this dash line indicates our setback line. So we have 40 feet from Depot Square,
Oh, that's right, this is a B1.
40 feet
Yeah.
from Main Street.
Yeah.
Right, this is a B1
This is a
general
B1,
business.
so
Mm.
all those setbacks are different than
Mm.
And-
what we're
Residential.
to look at.
Okay.
And I had actually had a 5, on my initial site plan, this is why it's revised, I had 5 feet, 2 side yards, but per John First's email today, and I think that he probably received the information from Bill, they're referring to the east side as the rear yard, which would be a 10-foot setback,
Mhm.
and then the north side being the side, which would be the 5 yard.
Okay.
So basically, this dash line indicates your setback requirements. So you can see our deck is encroaching and the pergola is encroaching, as well as the pre-existing structure.
Mhm.
So,
And that is part of this
Correct.
package. I don't wanna rip this open if
Right.
we don't have to,
Okay.
unless you guys.
No,
No, no, no.
So we have issues of like total lot coverage, the northern
And-
boundary, side yard setback, and the front yards. It would be both front yards in essence.
Do they, there's a 6-foot fence there, do they have a,
Well, that's a separate issue.
yeah, that fence is actually being replaced. The 6-foot stockade
Yeah.
fence is coming out and being replaced with a 42-inch high aluminum fence, which was recently approved by the,
That sounds good.
so I kind of
It
gave
is.
you a
That
visual
sounds
of.
less than 4 feet.
Yes.
Don't be
Yay.
distracted by the
No
pink color,
offense.
but this is just a
No
a
offense.
rendering of
yeah.
the new fence.
42-inch sounds great to me.
Looks nice. Looks really nice.
Looks really nice, yeah.
Optically, it's a substantial improvement.
Mm.
Yeah, I think it's really gonna open up the property and hopefully make it
Mhm.
a more
See, I mean, I
pleasant.
think that's the thinking of the board in, not this particular board, but in the code for 4-foot fences and below. I mean, it's to have that little more of that openness.
Right.
Well, there's the wall there too that you're putting on top of the wall, and the wall is ends at the, it's a retaining wall basically, right?
Correct, the retaining wall actually,
Is it existing?
it's.
Yeah,
it's
there,
That's
there
what
it
I
is.
thought.
Yes.
I would
That's
say
there
it's
now.
existing, yeah.
So we actually have a safety issue, which is dictating the height at 42 inches because it is a retaining wall,
Right.
somebody could fall over, so that our height from the interior grade has to be 42 inches to the top of the fence. So that's what's defining this new height.
So is essentially the increase in coverage coming from this structure here alone?
Yes.
Correct.
Unlock.
But nothing architecturally,
else.
Right.
all of that is
Right.
existing.
Should do a
Yes.
cross compare to the original photographs you have. No, just leave that there and.
Look at the original, yeah.
Yeah,
It's so much nicer. Yeah, I mean, you don't see anything with those, with that, but that's what you see. Look at, you know.
Photoshop?
Those are actually the real photos.
Oh,
And
oh.
this,
Obviously, I've not
yeah,
looked
those-
over
That-
there.
that's over there.
Yeah.
That's over on this side. This is the
Yeah.
corner, and that's over there.
Oh,
yeah,
okay, that's why.
You have to
real
go-
life.
yeah.
This is Photoshop.
Yeah, no, I
Yeah.
know that is.
But that's, because that's, you have this, you know, fence which is way high.
But it's just an open, more open.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
less obstructive effect
Yeah.
with
I guess
with the
now
fence
that-
like that.
Where's the parking? Is it in this building
The
here?
parking is within the garage, so,
sorry.
and I don't have any photos, but when you're on Depot Square, the Depot restaurant is over here,
Mhm.
pardon me, and you're looking kind of straight on at the building, so the
Mhm.
parking is at the far north end.
Right
The
here.
far north end over here.
There's a 2-car, 16-foot wide
Oh, it's right
garage.
up in-
Oh, that's what we see from the street.
That's what you see from the street, the garage.
Those, the
Yeah.
garage door thingies.
So, the basement, the ground floor plan, basically it's a utilitarian basement, unfinished, and the garage from Depot Square has 2 legitimate parking spaces and deep space for 2 compact cars in tandem. That's something we're reviewing with the planning
The
board,
planning
and
board.
whether, I gathered from John's email that that's a planning board issue, but if it becomes a zoning issue, you know, we can certainly discuss that.
I mean, we have dealt with parking in the past.
With
Because
regards,
it is zoning,
with
but. go ahead,
with
Tom.
that property across from the Spring Hotel, Spring Apartments. You remember that property that was gonna be the old gas station?
Oh, yes,
Yes.
yes.
Yeah, that was something where they were gonna create a showroom.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
But
So-
go ahead.
So we'll, we'll find out. I mean, there's nothing, this is what exists, obviously, there's nothing on the street that, because none of this street parking is there.
Correct,
I
right,
mean,
that is.
That's all,
But
yeah.
there's also been no letter with regards to zoning presented, parking issues presented to us.
Right.
no.
And in fact, John's email says that it's the village trustees.
Yeah,
So we should also possibly look at
Just
it,
keep-
double
just-
check it.
Yeah.
I think
Keep her.
the village trustees can accept a fee and waive the parking.
yes, yeah,
But if they do-
and that's what they've, that's kind of, but
That's what they like to do.
That's what they like to do. But I'm not sure if ZBA has to say okay or something. Yeah, but yes, they've done that in the past, and so we'll just keep our ears and eyes open on it. That's all we can do.
Yes.
But you're absolutely right.
And I'm gathering too, just from my previous meetings with the planning board, that the planning board is going to make a recommendation to the village board
Right.
whether or not they feel the parking waiver should be granted.
That's
So
how it works.
That's what
Yeah.
we're discussing with them, and of course, if the ZBA should be part of that, that's
Fine.
fine
Okay.
with us, you know. we'll-
I'm not out for
so-
power grabbing,
Right.
so
Yeah.
if somebody else wants to deal with it.
But the thing is, we should just look it over
Yes,
so we know
absolutely,
what the issues are.
absolutely. We need to keep it on our radar.
Yeah.
But I'm not, if somebody else wants to deal with that and come up with a solution, I'm okay with that.
Right. Yeah, it sounded like John was saying, maybe you should confirm that tonight in the workshop, but I'm not.
Yeah, I don't think any of us are in.
Position to confirm it,
Right.
yeah.
Well, it could be just confirmed by looking at the code.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. Oh, I thought you had it
I do.
up.
I have the code, I don't know.
Well, you don't have to, I mean, Aaron, what do you have?
What is it?
look
Just,
up.
is there a
I'm just-
short version or?
I'm just looking at the parking section.
Yeah.
13418.
Is that for?
B1s?
B1s?
Um,
Yeah. So, I know I have to readjust my thinking for B1. I'm so used to dealing with.
Well,
R1s.
This applies to all districts.
Okay,
Depending on the use.
yeah, okay.
But
Yeah.
I need to read it.
Yeah, okay, so what, just out of curiosity, just, what is it?
What's
Yeah,
interesting
basic
is.
of that, there's 134,
18
134.
supplementary regulations,
Okay,
and there's
That's
off-street
cool.
parking.
yeah, that's close enough. If I can get that, it saves all the searching.
And so I want to just also to give you a little background on that and looking at the supplemental regulations defining parking, what it doesn't do in 134.18 is define required parking for multifamily residences. It defines
All kinds
it-
of businesses,
all-
yeah,
exactly.
but no residences, right?
Right, so the planning board was acting on the premise that logically you would go back and look at the parking requirements for the R3 district.
Right.
So that's kind of what they're using as a starting point. So I don't know if I think the village attorney has kind of weighed in and agreed that that should be the logic, but there isn't clear definition in the parking defining it.
In the B1 district, are there any other multifamily dwellings? Or is this the only instance that there is one?
There's the one across from the firehouse, the red building.
Yeah, that's where I lived until a couple months
That
ago.
has a few
Yeah.
apartment system.
Yeah, it has 5. But it's B1, and that's B1 as well.
Yeah, that's
I would
B1.
imagine some of
Yeah.
the buildings on Main Street do as well.
Okay.
So following that through with the R3 regulations, basically they require 2 spaces per dwelling unit.
Yeah. So technically you're required 8.
8, correct.
Or 400 square feet.
400 square
If you have
feet,
4.
yes, sir. Which,
And what do you
that's
have?
for-
What do you
I'm sorry,
know?
That's
What
for
do you
4
have?
or more bedroom.
Right now, we
They-
have
They have 2 and.
2 and 2 in tandem, so,
are they,
you know.
do you know if they're full 400 square feet or not?
I don't believe they are. It depends lengthwise. They don't, I think that it was 9 by 18 feet is the dimension. I believe this at the narrowest is 8'6",
Yeah.
and these 2 spaces meet
Mm-hmm.
the requirements.
Okay.
So. So.
Sounds like a bigger issue than what you're looking at before.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so we'll just,
Yeah.
again, we'll just keep
Yeah, I
it
think
on.
the zoning is pretty straightforward compared to the parking.
By and large.
Okay, so I think as per John's email, you know, we have a lot coverage issue, which is primarily pre-existing with the exception of the pergola.
Mm.
So the pergola is ballpark, do you know the?
Square
Yeah.
footage?
Yes.
It's
It-
14
By
by,
14, so it's
14.
196 square feet. My calculations were just slightly different than what he had sent, and I'm not sure what he was using for the size of the pergola and the building, because I think Bill had calculated it off of a survey. But it was within 1%, so,
I mean, just so we can, you know, I mean, that thing, that the public hearing will be done.
what is the lot coverage percentage for B1?
35.
35.
35, and you currently have probably like 45?
49.92
Yeah.
is what I calculated.
And that's before the pergola?
Before the
goes-
pergola.
Before the
the
pergola,
pergola.
and then you had another
With the
100, 200
pergola.
practically, yeah.
Right, we'd have 52.92% with the pergola,
Right.
going up from 49.9,
Oh,
so.
in your package, just now that we're kind of in that mode of, do you have, what's it called? The which says front yard setback is this, blah, 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 blah.
Conformance worksheet.
Conformance worksheet, thank you
Yes.
so much.
I do.
This is just one copy?
But is
Yeah.
is it for just you?
Right, it did not include the pergola, so.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, we should do,
it-
that should be
it-
redone.
The conformance
Yeah.
worksheet should reflect
Okay.
Everything,
as
yeah.
if it were a single.
Okay.
application.
And then I did
You
get
put,
that,
put
that
pre-existing,
information.
you would have, since you're already over and certain things, you would have, pre-existing allowed and proposed.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So I've completed that for everything with the exception of the pergola, so I'll add
Yeah.
that in.
Okay.
And I did, for the purposes of this revised site plan, indicate the setbacks, and we're at 3 foot 5 inches to the Depot Square side and 19 feet to the Main Street side.
Do you think there's any need for photographs? We all pretty much know the neighboring area, but, to the extent that this is gonna be upwards of 52, when normal is 35, but when you consider all the other structures up and down Main Street, the density is much higher.
Yeah. I mean, do you have did you take, people have brought in Google shots? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Google Earth
It
shots,
just-
it
it just-
shows.
I mean, I know it's
Because
not
this
100%
has-
accurate.
This has a setback. I mean, most of the Main Street
Don't
buildings don't have
have any.
setbacks
They
at all.
haven't have any setbacks at all,
Right.
that's true. So I guess you can't.
We're just,
In line.
what this does is it brings us some evidence that when we go to make a decision, we can, it helps us find how it's more favorable.
Right.
Well, in fact, this is, in this new configuration, this is an anomaly in the downtown area,
Right, right.
completely.
Oh, yeah.
More,
I mean, there's-
more open, right?
Yeah, open and you see green,
Yeah.
you know. You see a lawn, actually.
So it would help, so both,
Okay.
across the street,
Yeah.
your side of the street, and then over
That'd be
here.
interesting to see.
Nice.
Because
we will relate to those.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's, yeah,
Because density seems to be one of your
Is that it?
bigger issues
That's it,
here.
right.
I mean, with the pergola, everything else.
Easier.
Yeah, I mean,
That's that old
short of
garage. Yeah.
tearing the
Yeah.
building down, I mean, we can't, with the exception of eliminating the pergola, we can't really decrease the coverage. However, with the elimination of the pool, there is now kind of a pervious pea gravel patio.
Oh, that's where the
So
pool
we
was,
have-
right there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so we have in some ways improved upon that.
Hmm?
Even though part of it is now being covered by a less than solid.
Well, the fence
pergola.
itself, with the takedown of a 6-foot
Fence.
barricade fence that sits on top of a wall,
Right.
so it's even
is
look higher.
huge, yeah.
Yeah.
It
Versus-
improves
It improves
the
the- yeah,
density
yeah.
Right.
image,
Yeah, immediately.
optically. So, I mean, there's something right there, and you could say something in that regard. So.
So I think that pretty much defines the project. Included in the last packet that I submitted, I've given you copies of the pergola, just so you have clear definition of the dimensions of that.
So that's essentially
Yes,
that.
Yeah, and I also submitted updated floor plans because the original floor plan showed 5 units, and so the revised floor plans indicate.
Yeah, I don't think we have any.
We have no issues for it. We have
No
it's not-
purview
no
or
purview.
issues over.
Yeah, because you're not, yeah,
Because it's already multifamily,
right,
and so.
Is the
And the structure's not changing, but go ahead.
yeah.
is the pergola going to be wired for electricity or connected to water?
I can't say for certain. I'm pretty sure, but I will ask that of
That's-
the
yeah.
designers.
That it is, or
That it will be, yeah.
That will not be.
Will not be, okay.
Right.
Because that may come to play when trying to figure out as far as the overhead coverage and whether, in fact, the pergola does constitute a type of structure that has to be accounted for square footage on the property.
Okay, so
I mean,
lighting.
that'll
we're
be easy to
thinking
figure that
of.
out. See.
lighting and, is it going to be an outside bar or a jacuzzi or something?
No, I can say it's not gonna be that.
Because it's still gonna be a multi, they're gonna rent it out
Yeah.
Or it
to
could be.
tenants, right, so it's,
Could be in the
Yeah.
future.
yeah.
It's really, the intent is for it to just have, kind of a nice area to enjoy the outside space for the tenants. So there's a patio area with the pergola, and we have some lawn. This is a pre-existing kind of stone well gazebo. on the property.
Oh, right.
So, like, people would be grilling outside or that kind of stuff, or would they be?
I don't know if they'd be grilling.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
I don't think
yeah.
she would forbid it, but I don't think she's planning on setting up an
Ah.
outdoor kitchen, so, and this
Seems like
garage
there's one
has a
across the
roof deck
street.
as well, so that's another area for outside space.
I mean, I am, it has nothing to do with ZBA whatsoever. I am wondering, do the tenants know that, you know,
They're gonna live.
8 months a year that there's, you know, an open patio with bands now and then? But this has nothing to do with ZBA whatsoever.
Yeah, that's landlord tenant
That's far
issues.
enough away, right, a block?
Yeah, a street.
Yeah.
It's not a block.
20 feet.
But it is definitely, I mean, just visually, just
Yeah, much better.
it's certainly
All right.
So in terms of, you know, I think I have this current list of information you'd like.
Oh,
Neighbors.
neighbors, yeah, that's the only thing on.
You've got to
That list
send,
was
you know,
in-
give legal notice and return receipts and that kind of stuff.
'Cause
And
did you,
I
oh,
did
you have a
separate
separate
that.
sheet, you're the one with the separate sheet. Right, separate sheet.
Well, you don't need much space on the
Well, that's true,
application.
we
Yeah,
don't,
right.
we don't. Okay, so, neighboring property owners that they have listed currently is 1 Depot Square
Which is the Depot restaurant.
The Depot restaurant.
restaurant, 6 Depot Square, which is,
Do you have,
I do.
do you have your chart of lots?
I do. Like, a tax assessment.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I have a copy of that.
and this wouldn't change because it's a single application, so that's good.
You can go out there and take it off the wall.
Wait, 37, is that the building with the Tyvek on it? Yes. The Tyvek Palace, 37 Main.
Is that the Nairn?
Nairn, yeah.
Manitou, yeah.
Yeah. And then 43 is the house.
It's the house in the
The
corner.
Ryans, right, on the corner. And then that's the one that the
45.
45 is the architect who bought the bed and breakfast. That the former bed and breakfast.
Right
you
across,
know,
yeah.
Right across. It's,
Oh.
yeah, but between the house on the corner, the Clabbert house on the corner, and the 40 is the one that 40, yeah, where Cape Cod leather is in
Oh,
there.
okay,
Right.
so yeah, that's on that side.
Yeah. And who's right
That's
next
about
to you
as
on the
high
other
up.
side? Who's just
Is it the studio?
adjacent?
Yeah, that's what we want.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a much more detailed
Yeah.
than what we had. So,
Market Street.
We're over-
Railroad.
We're over here. We're here.
Hang on, so I'm
So
looking
here's
at-
your lot.
Thank you, yes.
Okay.
This is
Okay.
Depot Square.
So there's this one. Yeah, 42. Well, these numbers don't make any sense to me anyway, but
then I don't think there's
yeah,
street numbers.
they're not street numbers.
Yeah.
But this is the
Right, right
the
there.
property here. So who's in this one right up Main Street?
Isn't that the art antique shop?
It is one of
Allen?
the antique shops, Ellen Hayden Antique, you're right. I think that's Ellen Hayden there.
48.1, 134 is Ryan.
Right.
45 Main Street, 133, I don't know if I included them. That is Ryan Alexander.
Yeah, they're there.
You did.
Yeah.
You did.
40 Main Street, which I believe is number 4,
So
that's-
48.12-.
Oh, that's Padala, that's
Joven Properties.
oh, that's
Which-
Josephine Padala,
Joven.
Oh, Padala,
Joven
40
Properties,
Main Street there, Josephine Padala, yeah.
right.
Then Manitou Machine Works is 37.
That's the
Main
one here.
Street, correct.
The monstrosity.
1 Depot Square is Depot Restaurant.
Depot Restaurant.
And 6 Depot Square is 2-3, so that is correct, right next door.
Yeah.
That's Conchetta Garufi, 6 Depot Square.
Oh,
I think all you have to do is show them a picture of this and nobody will complain.
Yeah, this is a residence between them and the Railroad Avenue.
Correct.
Okay, so then I was thinking about across Railroad Avenue, but
That's far enough away that they won't even see it, because there are places,
That ice cream shop,
you know, the
the
ice cream
shop is there.
and behind it is 2
And-
apartments, I think.
It's actually the same owner.
Who owns those
So this
two?
is 6 and 8, 6 Depot Square, 8 Depot Square, they're both owned by Conchetta Garufi.
Are either of those multifamily?
I think this might be, I don't know for sure, I'd have to.
It's very quiet, you hardly see anybody out there, except for a truck full of firewood. 6 times a year, 8 times a year.
Yeah.
So was that ice cream shop sold in conjunction with the Depot restaurant?
I don't know, I've never been in there.
Yeah, because I think Tom used to own that as well
Yeah.
as the Depot.
Tom sold
Yeah, he sold
Well,
Depot.
we brought a partner on it. They
Yeah,
didn't
oh,
sell.
he did, okay.
He's still
What about,
a minority partner.
This house up on Northern Gate, which is up on that hill, I wonder if they can see the property from where they are, if that even matters.
Fact is, it's an
Oh, looking
improvement no
down?
matter what.
Yeah, I don't know if they have a line of sight, because there's also trees there. I mean, if the ice cream shop does, they might. At 3 Northern Gate.
Yeah, I think it would be, I think it would be getting a little bit, absent the slope. I mean, without the slope, you wouldn't have that kind of a
Right, they
concern.
won't see it.
But I think you can in fact see it from there, but I don't think, it's getting far afield for what we've looked at before.
Yeah.
And if from judging from this, it looks to be like they'd have an improvement of looking down.
Yeah.
Unless they want to look at the public bathrooms.
Yeah.
Because they'd be looking down from here.
If the village keeps them,
Yeah.
Are we okay with this list?
Yeah, I think
I think
it's
the
good.
list is good.
Yeah, I don't think anything to add there.
Okay, so I just wanted to touch base on
Okay,
that.
yeah, no,
That's
that's
one
fine.
thing I knew.
So this list will be the list we actually notify via certified.
Right.
Mhm.
What I need to touch base with Matt to get his timeline.
Okay.
Our next official meeting is the 15th.
Okay.
Depending on planning,
Right.
we'll either schedule it or not. But planning has to act soon enough that we have to have, the latest I could notice, it's 5 business days, which is pretty tight.
It has to be, we have to be in the paper, put the ad in the
Before
paper.
the 10th,
Before
right?
it's really,
Well,
by the,
actually,
yeah.
before then.
The 10th, which.
By
Well-
Tuesday, in fact, we'd never do it, we'll never make it, because,
I don't think so.
we have to notice the hearing,
5
next
days in
week.
advance.
Yeah. Yeah, that's normally
Yeah.
what we're doing. I need to
Yeah.
write the notice this weekend,
Right,
get it to the paper. They need it by Monday morning, 9 AM.
or Tuesday with the holiday, but,
Sometime, yeah,
I mean, looking at all this, it
I
seems
don't know,
like the
maybe they-
biggest project is
You know,
the parking.
Right, and I'm hoping that we're gonna meet with the planning board next.
I don't think it's gonna happen, so I'm not gonna,
I can check if you want me to.
just check and shoot me an email. But I don't think we're gonna, yeah, Kim didn't say, well, I didn't highlight Kim, so.
But we're not gonna have a
don't
neg deck
think-
by then, anyway.
No, I don't think so. That's what I'm thinking. Our next scheduled meeting, because, today's the 1st, and the next one was the 15th.
Looking at October.
We're looking at October 6th, which, that's a.
It's a, yeah, it's a five Thursday month, next month, that's one of the issues.
So do you ever schedule a public hearing and then postpone it if it's delayed by the planning board? On the off chance that they're able to.
We actually haven't been in this position that I can remember where we're kind of truly dependent. Usually we will do a hearing and we'll refer to the planning board,
Right.
because mostly because Butterfield was off our plate.
Right.
We've been dealing with small projects.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So we haven't really been in this position of coordinated review. So I'll be in touch with Matt to see what his timeline is. And when I know that, I'll write the notice if I think we can do it on the 6th.
Okay.
When I write the notice, I send it to the paper, I send it to you, and I send it to Mary.
Okay.
Once you get that, I CC Michael. Michael will send you a little, this is how you do notifications in case you don't know how.
Okay.
I do have that note, and it's pretty much sent certified return receipt.
Right, yeah, I've done it before a few
Yeah.
times. So basically, you're writing the notice and I just get it to the
You just
people.
send it. You just send a copy to them. Is all.
Okay.
You don't have to.
And it would be good to bring the receipts as well as any green cards,
Right.
as well as
Yeah.
the green cards.
Right, okay,
We have the receipt of having mailed it, that's the, that helps too.
right, okay.
This is yours.
Yep.
Great, thank you. So there's no chance of having the public hearing? I know you have to wait for the planning board, but on the 15th, there's
Yeah.
no chance of
When do they meet?
scheduling that. and
When do they
then-
meet?
They meet
I think
Next week
Thursday.
Next
is,
week.
next Thursday, I believe, is the next meeting.
Yeah. So we're screwed. We're screwed because
Okay.
I would have to do it by Monday
Okay.
to get the paper to notice it by Wednesday
Right.
before the. Otherwise, it would be the day before.
So we're looking at an October 6th public hearing, most likely,
Yeah, sorry.
provided they act.
But that'll give us a chance
The weather
to
will be
hold it.
cooler.
Yes, the weather.
And
That
do you
makes it-
ever schedule meetings off of your regular time?
Part of the problem is we don't have the meeting room, we don't have space. There are other meetings that we
Especially,
Right.
especially for a public hearing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
If it were just a workshop, we've been known to
Sometimes.
do workshops off
Right.
schedule.
Okay.
Because then they just stuff us in the back room there.
Okay.
But public hearing and, I don't know how much interest this would show, but the assumption
Never know.
is.
People might wanna just come and see what the plans are for the property, 'cause it's
Right.
front,
A lot of people see it.
everyone walks by it,
Yeah.
you know?
Right. Okay.
And it's all looking like a plus. So,
Ta-da.
So in the meantime, I'll just drop this additional information off at the village hall and it will get to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you wanna just drop me a note, say, oh, by the way, I dropped off, yada, yada. So just FYI.
So Aaron, maybe you and I will look at the parking, talk to Greg.
Okay.
Just so. you
Your
know-
homework is to report on parking.
No, I mean, just see what you come up with.
Yeah.
We'll just
Yeah,
keep,
I-
so Greg's informed.
I read further and it says that the parking has to have direct access to the street or an alley in order to count.
So those-
back two
those
spaces
back
aren't
two
gonna
are-
count,
Okay. That's
even
what.
if they were big enough.
And you're not offering your parking spot.
I don't have one.
Oh, there you are.
And with the direct access, I was curious, is that also true in a residential district? Because I'm just thinking of like the number of properties that have kind of single lane
Single lanes.
driveways where obviously people can park cars front to back
I
and
don't know, that's a good question.
That's why we gotta look at it more. So we're gonna look at I'll look at the pergola issue and the parking, P and P.
P&P, pergola and parking.
All right, I think that's it, right?
Yeah.
Excellent, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks.
Thank you.
It's
Karen.
great.
Karen.
It's nice to see something that's so together.
Yeah.
And, you know, the markings on that are very clear, which is.
Yeah,
Which is
great, very good for
Pretty
us.
good
Yeah.
considering the
When
complex-
Donald was
Yeah,
chair.
the
complexity
He'd
of-
sit there and he'd
Yeah.
scratch all over these things, because it wasn't clear.
Yeah.
It wasn't clear, so. By any chance, Michael, I didn't say anything to you. Did you bring any minutes? I didn't say anything,
No.
I
Yeah,
just,
good.
I just,
That means we
on the off
Thanks a lot.
chance, just on the off
What?
chance.
I usually don't
No, I
unless I'm
know,
asked.
I just thought I'd ask. You can tell,
That's
it was-
great.
you can tell it was high on my priority list.
Mhm.
Um,
Would you like me to start doing that?
no, don't. It's
So
fine.
just one more quick question.
Sure.
If, I know public hearing will be in October, but do you need me to come back in 2 weeks to present the additional information, just to make sure we're all set?
No, I don't think so. I think what you presented tonight is sufficient enough, considering it's essentially the pergola
Okay.
on the other application, or
Okay.
the other denial. No, I think, you know, the site plan is clear.
Just out of
Yeah.
curiosity, one thing I'm thinking of is pergolas on other properties around Colesburg.
Are there?
And I'm
Fish
just,
Hill
I'm
Avenue.
wondering, yeah, I'm just wondering
Fish
how they've
Hill
been
Avenue, see, we were at 11? No, we're 11 now. We were 12. I think 10 Fish Hill Avenue, it's corner lot. Fish Hill Avenue and Ross Street.
So did you actually have an application that dealt with something like that? No, you didn't.
No, there's one there.
All right, I was just wondering in your experience on the board whether you came across.
Fishkill, you mean Kemble and Rock?
No, Fish Hill. Fish Hill is the one behind the Butterfield Library.
Right, but, so that's not Rock Street, it's gotta be.
No, it's Fish Hill Avenue.
Well,
Yeah.
what might be interesting,
Okay.
how long have you seen it to be in place?
2 years.
2 years,
2
okay,
years.
so it might not be on a, you know, a map,
A map either,
or a
right.
survey
No,
of
it's
the
probably
property.
not. It's
Probably not.
But just for reference.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying is if we were to get that survey or that property, see, you know, just go into tax and see what the lot coverage is.
Yeah, I would be curious, because he has a garage and a house and a shed.
Yeah, and see how they've dealt with it.
Yeah.
All right, Karen, thanks.
Set.
Thanks
a lot. Karen.
Great, thank you. Thank you again.
welcome.
See you in a couple days.
Can we adjourn?
So, I dropped the ball, didn't do minutes, so we have no minutes to review. I don't have any other announcements, that I can
No
think
letters,
of.
no mail, or?
No, it's a pretty boring time.
Thank
So, do I hear a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I move that we adjourn.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Uh,
Aye.
See, you
We are
said it.
adjourned.
Oh.
Guys.